Hey guys, welcome back to another RES Game Math tutorial. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can use surds, how you can manipulate surds, and how you just use them in calculations. So if you don't know what a surd is, it's basically just a root or a fractional indice, you could say. So if you know about fractional indices, you know that x to the 1/3 is this, or let's just start with 1/2, it's easier. So x to the 1/2 is the same thing as the square root of x. And usually we wouldn't say this is the surd form, we say this is the surd form because generally anything which has the sort of root in it, that's what we consider surds. But yeah, so surds is anything like square roots, cube roots, and fourth roots, anything like that. So let's have a real life example. Let's say something like the square root of 4, which we all know is 2. Important thing to realize is that the square root of 2 squared is only 4, and it's not plus or minus 4. Because if we look at the definition of a surd, well, this is square root specifically, but if we look at the definition of the square root specifically, it states the square root of x squared is the absolute value of x, so not plus or minus x, like so. Now, you might have got confused because an algebra equation which is saying solve x squared is equal to 9, well, here the two solutions are x equals plus minus 3, but that's just because you're looking for all solutions. So it's important to clear that up from the start. This is the definition of a square root. It's not how that is. This isn't how it is for the cube root, because for cube root you can also have negative answers. But for an even root, this is the definition. So remember that an even root is always going to be positive, like we see here. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, we need some rules. So the rules, pretty simple stuff. When you have two surds, let's say we have root 2 plus root 3, we can't simplify this at all because these are basically different terms, are completely different, can't be simplified. This is just stuck, so let's just leave that like that. If we had root 2 plus another root 2, then we can combine like terms, and that's going to give us 2 root 2. Okay, so that's just basic algebra, nothing too special going on there. But if we look at the next rule, this is specific to surds. So if we have the root, let's say we have root 3 multiplied by root 7, that is in fact going to be root 21. So to combine them, we can combine the surd and we multiply the numbers like so. So obviously it's going to work the same way if we had division, because let's say we had root 7 divided by root 3. Well, we can write this as the whole root of 7 over 3, which is the answer. And this is also the same thing as root 7 over root 3, as you can see here, because that's just easily simplifies to that. So that's the next bit. I know this is a bit messy, but let me just write, let's just put in general terms. So let's put root A multiplied by root B is root AB. Root A over root B is the same thing as root A over B, like so. So using these two rules, we can now deduce more properties from surds. So let's say we want to simplify root 8. So what we can do is we can split this up into root 4 times root, or just root and then 4 times 2. Then we can use this property to split this up into root 4 times root 2, and then we can simplify this root 4 term into just a 2 root 2. So that's how root 8 simplifies to root 2. Let's do a similar sort of thing. So let's just say we had, so let's say we had something like root 12.25. So the first thing you want to do is write this as a fraction. So let's set that equal to root, and let me just think what this is going to be. So obviously it's going to be 1, 2, 2, 5 over 10. And now we can separate this into root 1225, oh sorry, it should be 100 over root 100. And if you know that the root of that is just 35, root of that is obviously 10, so then we get 35 over 10, which is 3.5. So that's how we simplified that. And yeah, it's basically it basically all comes down to these specific rules. Now, you need to remember, if you have a cube root and a square root, these aren't really compatible because it's the equivalent of doing 2 to the 1/3 times 3 to the 1/2. This isn't compatible. However, if you add the cube root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2, in these cases, it's often better to just convert it into exponent form, because then you can just use the fact that exponents sum when multiplied, so that's going to be equivalent to that, which is equivalent to that 2 to the 5/6. But that's just a quick note. You can't really combine different sort of surds, different power surds into the same thing. So just remember that. And these are the main rules which you need to memorize. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future tutorial. Bye.